ton mot de passe aussi. Ça redemande ton mot de passe.
C'est en route.
I know, but...
Good morning, everyone. We will start in a few seconds. We are waiting for everyone to join. Welcome to this Institut Français workshop. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you are from, where you teach, what level you teach. We'll be very interested to know that, and we'll say a bit more on the presentation accordingly. We have created a small form that you can fill if you like. Here is the link.
I'm on it.
Yeah, this is a contact form. So if you're interested, we'll send more information after the seminar, the workshop, the conference, and also the PowerPoint used. Bonjour Tessa. Bonjour Leia. Stage 3 and 4 healing. Perfect. Birmingham. Bonjour Zora. Bonjour Karen. Quinzaine aux adultes. Très bien. We'll also have materials and information for teachers who teach to adults. Bonjour Glenn. So I will start maybe sharing the presentation, and we'll wait maybe a few more seconds before starting. Okay. Can you see the presentation? Ça marche, Axel? Très bien. Okay, maybe a few more seconds and we'll start. So maybe we can start introducing ourselves. I am Romain Deveau. I'm the French language attaché at the Institut Français, the cultural and education body of the Embassy of France. And I have on my side Axel Oxborough, who is in charge of DELF and DALF diploma and certification for the United Kingdom.
Welcome, everybody. I will be talking to you about the Delfin in a little moment, but right now I'm running the chat to send you the form, which you can fill out and return to us to receive more information on our projects. We would also like to remind you that if you have questions, we will answer questions at the end of this presentation, but please do so in the Q&A section, not in the chat. Because in the chat, they run the risk of being lost among all the other comments that you might make among you to us and so on. So please, please, please use the Q&A button, and we will try and answer as many questions as we can at the end.
Okay, so maybe we can start because we have a lot of information to share with you, and we only have 45 minutes. So welcome everyone at this very small workshop to introduce you materials, initiatives, services that the Institut Français provides to teachers of French in the UK. So we will start very briefly to introduce Culture Tech, a digital online resource platform that you can use for you and your students. We'll go through the primary French project that has been created to support teachers in primary school. Axel will also introduce briefly the Delf Prime Ingenieur diplomas, diplomas that are offered to students who want to show their competency in French. We'll also go through teaching resources after that are offered to teachers and also students in the country. School activity and programs offered by the Institut Français, and at the end, professional development offers for teachers in the country. We'll try to keep 5 to 10 minutes for Q&A at the end, and as Axel said, please feel free to add all the questions you have in the Q&A section and not the chat. Thank you very much. So let's start maybe with Culture Tech. Culture Tech, which is an online platform developed here in the UK, at first 20 years back, I think, and now available on the planet. This is a free online platform that gives you access to a digital library, but also different kind of contents, music, podcast, movies, ebooks, novel, newspapers that you can use for your own goods, but also for sharing in the classroom and with your students. Some of this material is adapted to the classroom. Some of these documents are accompanied with teaching resources and scheme of works, so they're quite easy to use in the classroom. Some other are a bit less, but we strongly invite you to have a look. It's free. You just need to create an account to get onto Culture Tech. Second big thing that could be used for teachers, and here specifically French primary teachers, is primary French. The primary French project has been created in 2013 by ALL, the Institut Français, the Language Network, and Catherine Cheater, who has been creating resources for this project. The primary French projects offer a wide range of resources for Key Stage 2 teachers who want to easily get by and use French language in their school. It has been built on the national curriculum in England and can be easily adapted to other national curriculum in Wales, in Scotland or Northern Ireland, for example, and gives you an evolving scheme of work throughout Key Stage 2, as well as some activities that can help you create link between Key Stage 2 and Key Stage 3. So 5 sections are offered: the bleu, blanc, rouge, and multicolor sections. One section for each year group, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the multicolor for a transition between Key Stage 2 and Key Stage 3. In these resources, you will have PowerPoint slides that can be easily used on a whiteboard. You will have written material, but also videos and audio that you can use in the classroom. You have correcting answer sheets, you have exercise sheets, you also have some very brief exams that can be used in between each section of the primary French project. I give you the mic now, Axel, and for a transition, I can just say that the primary French project, even if it's built on the national curriculum, gives also access and leads also to the Delfin diplomas. So using the primary French project, you can also offer your student to take one of the Delfin diplomas.
Exactly. Thank you, Romain. The DELF is a series of examinations and diplomas, as the name of this slide suggests, that ties in very, very well with the primary French project, because as your students gain in proficiency, then they start being able to actually assess their level and go home with a diploma, which is extremely rewarding for them. And it's something that actually can be used for a lot of things, and we will see why. So you've heard maybe of the Delfin, but you're not quite sure what it is. It stands for Diplôme d'études de langue française, or Diplôme approfondi de langue française. And it's a series of independent proficiency examinations with diplomas. So they are, the most important thing to know is that they are based on the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. That's a big word, usually known as CFRL, or CFR for short. Not used, unfortunately, in schools as such, but used more widely in the world of employment, in a world of official certifications, for instance, for naturalization or any real professional setting. So the CFR contains 6 levels. It comprises 6 levels, sorry, which show the different stages of the increasing proficiency that a learner can have. And therefore, the DELF are also 6 different levels. As the diagram shows, it exists on even a tiny little half level, the A1.1, which is only for young students, very, very young students, primary age students. And that's why it ties in very well with the primary French project, because we try to harmonize the national curriculum with the demands of the exam. The DELF can be sat at any age. As you can see here, it exists in its baby levels for the primary age students, so those who are up to year 6. So that's up to about 11. Then if you are older than this, but you still want to take a beginner level, you can, and that's called DELF Junior or Scolaire, and that's for secondary age students, but it can go and follow, it mimics in this way the development of the students as they age, therefore in maturity, but also in proficiency, because the B2 level, which is the top possible level for teenagers, is actually something that you would find in a setting that's very similar to, for instance, the IB. And that's a level that we would be aspiring to reach at year 13 level, roughly. But the DELF is not just for students, it can be for anybody. And if you're an adult, you can take the DELF as well. I will just quickly stop just to see that I've seen a quick question in the chat. Could you please make sure that they all sent in the Q&As, please, because otherwise they run the risk of being lost in the middle of everything. And I would love to answer your questions. So if you're an adult and you want to sit the DELF, you can do so as well. It's called the tout public, but it also exists for all levels. And then higher up for the DELF, which is a more university-based examination. On a more official thing, on the right-hand side, you will see all those lovely logos, and they are our official organizers, award bodies for the DELF. And that's the Ministère de l'Éducation nationale in France, so you can't get more official than that. The DELF is the official one. And they delegate to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which then delegates to the Institut français, i.e. us, via France Éducation Internationale, which is their operator, which organizes absolutely everything. Romain, could we move on to the next slide? Thank you. The DELF works very simply. It is comprised of 4 different sections, each of them out of 25, gives you a total out of 100. If you don't obtain under 5 out of 25 in one of the segments, and if you get a total of over 50, then you pass. You pass, there are no distinctions, no merit, you're part of the club, it simply means you have the level that we want. And the marking is very positive. There is no very specific, very finicky marking scheme. It's a very, very can-do approach, very positive. If you can communicate, because it's all about the communicative approach, if you can communicate in a task, and if you can fulfill that task, be it buying something, giving a presentation to work, writing to your mayor to complain of something, or listening to the radio, then you get some marks and it's evaluated that way. So very rewarding from that perspective. Next slide, please. So the DELF and DELF exists alongside other exams, as you know, GCSE, A-levels, degrees, you name it. But it stands out in a certain way because, first of all, the levels are independent. So you can decide to pitch at the level you're at now, or you can work towards a level if you need a specific one. but you don't have to sit them all one by one. It's not a modular type of examination. So each diploma is independent. Each diploma is valid for life, and that's the big important thing. So you can be sitting a Delf A1 at the age of 9, and you can still write it on your CV 15 years later. Why? Because whilst you may have lost a little bit of the vocabulary, for instance, or the general fluency, that can be reactivated very quickly. What you can do, what you've gained from a good, solid learning of French, and that has been assessed, is your capacity to communicate. And that's what the diplomas reward, and that's why they are valid for life. They're also valid internationally. 173 countries offer it at the moment, but employers the world over know what it's like in terms of the names of the levels, and they do insist on them because they are a proof that you have the right proficiency to be able to function in real life, in real professional lives. Where it makes it super easy for teachers is that there are no set topics. You don't have to have read books or watch movies or anything specific as you would with any other curriculum. It's what you can do with a language. So no learning by heart, it's all about effective communication. No coursework, no nothing. What you can do, you do it on the day of the exam and you see where it lands you. All the questions have been carefully tested by psychometricians, which means that the calibration of the levels is perfect for each level, and it's up to you teachers to figure out which level might be good for your students. For reference, the B2 is generally the gateway to most French universities, Francophone universities as well, and some British universities, because King's College London accepts the Delf B2 and above in lieu of an A-level of French if you want to study French. So why offer it to your students? Well, as I've said, it's extremely important in the world of the employment market. So it's useful for a CV, to boost a CV, to show that you can actually communicate in French in a professional or indeed any situation. For you as teachers, it is a very, very good assessment for your students. Some teachers, for instance, last year with the COVID, wondered how they would actually set their students and stream them into the right classes because they didn't have any assessment. Well, that's your tool, definitely. It's also extremely rewarding for students. A very quick anecdote, I was examining at B1 level, and I heard several students leave the exam room and shouting to their teacher, oh my God, it was amazing. I understood her, she understood me. It wasn't questions and answers and something scripted. It was a real conversation. It was amazing. And that's what we want when we sit an exam, because exams are not fun otherwise. It's a bonus qualification, so no problem if it's failed. You can resit it as many times as you want until you pass, and then as many times as you want until you get the top level that you want. It also appears on the UCAS form, and that's super, super, super important because UCAS are aware, universities are aware, universities love this sort of thing. And so writing your results in your UCAS form and writing it in your personal statement is a huge plus. As a result, of course, there is a growing interest from British universities. Quite a few universities, 9 at this point, are examination centers for the Delf themselves, and they really want to encourage this. Of course, there is also the argument of international mobility. Mobility, at this point in time, it's a little bit iffy between COVID, Brexit, we're not too sure, but that way, students are ready. They can go in the world and prove that they can speak French and get jobs. And there is no extra teaching required, as I said. No coursework, no nothing. What you can do, you do. Next slide, please. Who should take the Delf? That's for your students. Bilingual binationals, for sure, they will need it. They will definitely need to show proof of their level for possibly going back to their country. But it can also be done as an alternative, especially to AS, because AS these days is less popular. The students who do science, for instance, would love to continue with languages, but they don't quite know how to do it. Delf can be done that way. So you can integrate it easily into a club or offer it even to your gifted and talented as well as a club. Anything you want to do with it, we will be there to support you to put it in place. And of course, teachers can sit the Delf too. If you want to certify your own level of French, then go for it. We will help you. The QR code that you see on your screen at the moment is that of the exam board. So feel free to click on it or to scan it, and then you will have access to sample papers, more information, and plenty of things that can be useful for you in your classroom. Next slide, please.
We will share, of course, the presentation at the end of the presentation. So feel free to fill this form we have added in the chat, so that you can have all this information with
Absolutely,
you.
absolutely.
And this was your last.
And that was my last. That was
your
meant to be my last. Okay. Just to let you know, one last thing: you can become an exam center for your school. You don't have to take your students somewhere else. So do get in touch via the form, and we will be able to help you set up an exam center. If you are a school, if you're already running GCSEs or A-levels, it could not be easier. I promise you, we will be there to support you and make it as painful as possible. Thank you.
So merci beaucoup, Axel. We'll give you our details at the end of the presentation, of course, so that you can get in touch, and we'll forward this presentation by email. So maybe a few resources that teachers can use, that can easily use, that can be found online for free. So first of all, EF Cinema, which is the online cinema platform created by the Institut Français. So the Institut Français is not only in the UK, it's everywhere in the world. The central office is in Paris and creates tools, materials, but also platforms for teachers across the globe. So EF Cinema is an online French platform that can be used for movies, documentaries, etc., and can be easily accessed on that link. You just need to create an account and log in. Movies are accessible, available accordingly to your country. So you'll see that you will need to select UK and see what kind of movie you can get in the UK. Some movies are very, very new and they're accessible for a small amount of time, because the Institut Français needs to negotiate the copyright and all that. Second very useful tool, the Diversities et en plus je chante en français. This is an initiative created also by the Institut Français to help teachers use music and songs in the classrooms. You have a list, a very extensive list of songs that have been adapted to the classroom. You can find teaching materials, very small scheme of work that can be used around the songs and music that are offered, and can be used with your pupils from very youngsters to A-level students with more accurate and detailed exercises. So you have also the link to that website. We'll make sure to send you, of course, one more time the presentation at the end of the workshop if you fill up the form. Another resource that I found very, very interesting and that some of you may already know, TV5 Monde. TV5 Monde is an online channel, francophone channel, and has created a section for French learners, but also French teachers, apprendre le français and enseigner le français, that is used for teachers of French. You have a very wide range of resources from beginner level to advanced level that can be used either by the students themselves or by the teacher in the classroom to follow up and to go on in your curriculum. The documentaries, the movies broadcasted on TV5 Monde are used for the creation of these pedagogical and teaching resources. So you will have I don't know how to phrase this in English, but you will have lesson plans accordingly to the level of your students, with correction sheets, exercise sheets, and also some more exercises they can do on their own. Another great platform is the RFI Savoir platform. So RFI it's quite similar to TV5 Monde. So TV5 Monde was the TV channel. RFI is the radio broadcasting channel. which has also created a platform, a section on their website where they use the material broadcasted on the channel for teachers and French learners. You will see that this material is very, very up to date. You will find, I've selected some of them here. You have, for example, the Netflix TV show Lupin, which is dealt with in some recordings on the radio, and some teaching materials are created alongside this recording to be used by teachers in the classroom. Here again, you have different levels that you can select to sort out the material that you can use with your students. As for the Institut Français in the UK, we have a wide range of activities, programs, and services that we offer to teachers and schools in the country. No matter if you are in London, the Greater London, or across the country, we have services and programs for you. First of all, I can maybe quote the few online resources and on-distance resources we have. We offer the French box. So the French box is a box of books you can select and have sent to you in your school for free for a period of 6 weeks, I think. The only thing you pay is the transport back to the Institut Français for those books. We have also created a virtual escape game for schools and pupils. They can immerse in the Institut Français library and try to find a way out before they are catched up by the ghost. And the last but not least, online activity would be the online school activities. So they have been created during the 2020 sanitary crisis. We have school activities on site at the Institut Français, and we have created online school activities for school that would be a bit more remote. So for the Institut Français and the school activities that are available for teachers and school, we offer school activities as part of the Set French Days. So they are French days organized with movie screenings in our cinema, but also activities that are led by our teachers in the workshop rooms. They can be easily used as a one-day or a half-day school trips to London. So you come, you bring your classroom, and then we organize school activities in small groups. They eat and then can also watch a movie in French. So we have set French days that are organized by our teams, but you can also have your own a la carte French days. So you pick up the movie and then you pick up the activity you would like, and then the day, and you come whenever it's more convenient for your school. Finally, we can also organize school screenings. So we have a wide range of movie for school that can be selected and shown in our and screened in our theater. Let's move on to La Médiathèque. So the Institut Français has also a wide range of book selection. So I was talking about the French boxes earlier. The French box is free. You can keep it 6 weeks, 30 items sent to you. We also have school memberships to borrow a bit more documents. So you can borrow 60 documents for 3 months if you are a member of the Institut Français library. We have here the contact details of our colleagues at the Médiathèque if you ever need to know a bit more about the membership, but also the French boxes. Please feel free to contact them or just visit the Institut Français website to know more about all this. Of course, if you have any questions, I'm going a bit fast because I see the time running. If you have ever any question, please feel free to ask. Axel, if you see any question related to this topic.
If you are ready, we can field some questions.
Yes.
The first question, since we are still on the school days, was what the maximum number of students you would welcome on a particular school day, school activity at the Institute?
So this is a very good question. Thank you. It will all depend on how many activities you would want to lead. So we have a specific amount of student welcome per activity. I think it's about 20 to 25, but we can actually divide the classrooms and have different workshops run at the same time. For the movie theater, we can accommodate up to 200 students at a time. So we can definitely have 2 or 3 classrooms for the movie, and then at the same time workshops, and then do the other way around with the groups.
And what's the minimum then?
I'm pretty sure it would be 30 students. I will have to double check. Yes.
Okay.
Going on the fare is per student with this minimum of 30 students, and the teacher will never get charged.
As regards French à la carte, we have just a very specific request from Glenn saying we contacted you and no response. We'd like to organize a library session on French cinema, giving us his contact details. Glenn, we will make sure that we pass this on to our colleague at the Institut Français with the school activities to make sure that she can get back to you. Next question regarding the primary project. What's the cost for obtaining the resources?
So the primary French project is totally free. Yes, this is the most interesting piece of information, and I haven't talked about it. It's easily accessible onto Institut Français, the Institut Français website, onto EFF, I will be talking about in a minute, and is totally free. All the resource of the primary French project has been created for primary teachers to support you, and is totally free.
Next question, I think, is for me. What's the price for private bilingual students who would sit the exam externally, so for the DELF? We've been having quite a few questions on the fees of the exams. So the fees are a little bit different whether they go to an external examination center, or whether the Institut Français, an Alliance Française, or a university that offers the DELF, or whether the school becomes an exam center. If the school becomes an exam center, the fees are more or less calibrated onto the fees that the GCSE and A-level roughly cost. I know as schools you don't necessarily see these costs, but they are there. And therefore a DELF between A1 and B2 would be between 60 and £100. The reason why the fees go up is because the exam is longer, takes longer to organize, and of course, you know, all the outgoings are equally higher. As regards sitting the exam in an external center, the fees range between 80 and 140, I think. Don't have the next year's fees right here in my head. At the moment, they are between 75 and 115. So that's a little bit different, but that's because they operate as external examination centers. So if you do have more than 5 students, and if you do want to offer the DELF on a slightly more regular basis, then I would strongly urge you to open your own center, simply because also the local external centers have limited capacity, and sometimes there are people who are disappointed when they try to register and they can't. Continuing with the questions, would like to bring 12 A-level students to a school activities. That's totally doable, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. So I will make sure to know the exact the minimum of student. For a screening, I think it's a bit more. I think it's 30, but a school activity, yes, we have definitely had 10 to 15 student groups for school activities, yes. And we can also have a small visit of the Institut Français and of the library at the same time, yes.
And I think we have covered it all.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm moving on. Please feel free to ask any more questions if you have any. So the Institut Français also organizes different competition all throughout the year for school to engage and their students. We have for not so young students, for maybe high school students, des joutes oratoires, which offer some kind of debating competition for year 12 to year 13 students. The 21-22 competition will be launched beginning of December. This is first a regional competition that comes bigger and goes nationwide. The final of this competition is held at the Institut Français during the month of the Francophonie in March 2022. And every year, a few thousand of students are competing against each other in this very, very stimulating competition. We also have so we are supporting this competition, and we have also created the French pop video competition for student age 7 to 18. So they have different categories of students who can compete within this age range. And the idea is to engage the classroom, but also one student, if one student is interested, to create a small song and the video clip that goes with it. We have had very, very interesting and very, very funny video clips made over the last few years. This competition works pretty well, and is quite motivating for the students. So please feel free to get in touch if you want to know more. The 2020 competition will be launched in a few weeks now. And the regional competition, the national competition for this French pop will have a final event in June next year with a small concert at the end to congratulate the winners. Another initiative that can be of interest to your school is the French language assistant program. So the British Council and the France Education Internationale are partnering to welcome French students in schools, in British schools, to assist teachers of French and modern language departments all throughout the year. So the language teaching assistants come to the school beginning of October most of the time and stay for a period of 9 months in the school. They can help with conversational skills and a better understanding of French culture, but also the Francophone culture. So EF Prof, moving on to this very interesting platform created by the Institut Français as well. EF Prof I was talking about earlier, where you can find easily find accessible the primary French resources. So EF Prof is the worldwide social network for teachers of French. So all teachers of French, but also educators and administrators interested in French and promoting French in their school are most welcome and strongly invited to connect onto EF Prof, create an account. It's totally free, and you can find some different kinds of resources. You can get information about events related to French competition, French events in the country, but also find teaching resources created by teachers. The idea is that EF Prof is a platform created for teachers, and that resources are also shared by teachers within this platform. So different groups are created for secondary teachers, primary teachers. Teaching resources are created and shared online, but also strategic resources for creating, for example, a bilingual stream, or for engaging in school exchange, etc., etc. So you are most welcome to join this social network. We make sure to add any single initiative by the Institut Français, but also any initiative we recommend on this platform. Finally, a few words about the Label France Education, which is an accreditation created by the Ministry of Education in France and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to support schools who engage in a bilingual stream in French. There are nowadays 523 primary and secondary schools who are benefiting from this official distinction from the French government. And that can be found all throughout the world. There are 4 schools in the UK that offer a bilingual stream and that have been accredited by the Label France Education. We are definitely open to supporting any initiative or any school who would be willing to engage in a bilingual stream. We also have some different resources to promote bilingual education and to help teachers and families set up this bilingual stream and advocate for it in their institution. So I'll be more than happy to talk about it with anyone interested. Please get in touch. You'll see our details after that. If you ever have any idea of opening a bilingual stream in your region. Professional development for teachers, so CPD, maybe something that can also be very interesting for you. The Institut Français offers a wide range of teacher training and resources, CPD, all throughout the year. So here is our web page for teacher training. Teacher training offers are divided into 2 different kinds of offers. Some of them are organized in France during the summer. Some of them are online or in the UK at the Institut Français all throughout the year. We schedule this offer at the end of the year, so the web page might not be up to date at the moment. But if you get in touch or connect onto that page in January, you will be likely to see training offers for 2022. Primary French project, we also offer training sessions to introduce the material, but also help you use it in the classroom and answer all your questions. We usually organize it with Catherine Cheater, who has been creating this material and who has been promoting it for the last few years. This is it for the teacher training.
You can also become an examiner for Delfin.
Exactly,
if you want. If
yes.
you are going to open an exam center in your school, for instance, and you want to autonomize your team, then it's totally possible. So if you get in touch, we can also pass on all this information, put you on our list of expressions of interest, and then let you know whenever we have a training course on the way.
Yeah, the CPD offers are usually shared also on EF Prof, so feel free to get on the platform, on the social media to get all those burning news. You can also get some teacher training at the Alliance Française, which would be which could be near you. They are scattered all throughout the country, Alliance Française and Institut Français, 11 Alliance Françaises in the country. So most of them are known for the courses they offer to French learners, but Alliance Française are also a good way to work on teacher development as well. Last but not least, we organize next Friday, November 26th at 6 p.m. a conference with the support of ALL and the CAVILAM, a conference on bringing together language and culture in the classroom. So we'll welcome a few panelists that will show us and give us tools, but also very practical activities that could be used in the next few days in the classroom to engage students and and create some link between language and culture in primary and secondary classrooms. So please feel free to join this conference. It will be held at the Institut Français in the library. It will be a 1-hour conference and will be followed by a cocktail that could allow us to meet you and also teachers to meet together and have some kind of networking event. So here is a QR code to this conference, but you can also find it online on our website. We will
on this level, we have questions about Friday the 26th of November. So you confirm it is both for primary and secondary teachers?
Yes.
And will it be held in French or in English?
It will be held in English. It will be held in English. It will be for primary and secondary teachers. Catherine Cheater, who has been creating the primary French project, will be one of the panelists. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We have, how do we access the information about the pop video competition?
So pop video competition will be launched in about a few weeks. You can find information about the 2020 competition on our website, but we'll make sure to send everyone that has registered on the form information. Otherwise, you can get back onto our website in about a few weeks, and a bit more information will be accessible by then.
I will put the form again in the chat right now. So
Thank you, Axel.
If you do want some information on the pop video competition, do fill out the form.
So this form will only be used for giving you information, and we have also asked you if you wanted to be listed on our newsletters. But if you don't, just don't tick the box, and we won't use your detail for anything else.
Exactly. Will the conference of the 26th of November be online as well?
Well, it will also be online for teachers who are not in London. So feel free to also register. On the registering form, you have the option to get the online ticket or the on-site tickets. But for teachers who are in London, we strongly encourage you to come over to meet us, and so that you can also meet each other.
Okay. And how does one apply for teacher training online?
So teacher training will also be launched by the end of the year, beginning of next year. Usually we send information on our website, on EF Prof, and on our social media. We also contact teachers we have in our database, and teachers can also contact us throughout the email address that is accessible on our website.
And if you can show maybe our email address right now so people can,
yes,
that way you have everything to send us information. Where is
and have a QR code to the Institut Français website.
Glenn is asking, where is the form for the conference, please? Eventbrite won't open the form.
On Eventbrite, you just need to click on register. And once you click on register, you have a choice, either online ticket or on-site conference ticket.
Okay.
Please let us know if it's not working, and we'll sort it out for you.
And, okay, I think we are done with the questions.
Well,
if you have any more questions, type them in quickly now.
Yes, and we'll also be very interested to know if all this has been useful, and if anything else could be useful to you as teacher teaching in a primary or secondary or at university level. Of course, we have not been talking about university initiatives, but we do have some initiatives towards teachers at university teaching French. We'll make sure to share them if you ever need. If you have in mind anything else that could be helpful in the classroom, please feel free to tell us. We are very interested to have some information back from you.
And we have a report that the Eventbrite QR code did not work.
Okay, so I can share right now.
And then we unfortunately need to wrap up, but we can hopefully.
So I think we have another 8 minutes. So
I've just been given a
okay.
signal by our host.
Oh, okay. It's over. So we will make sure to send you the.
But if you share it now in the
Yes.
chat, maybe then
Yes.
people can use it. And that way, those for whom the QR code did not work will be able to still access it.
And there it is. Okay, and we will have to leave you because we have.
Brilliant. Our
time was over. Thanks a lot for being here, for following this very small workshop, and we'll make sure to send you information and this PowerPoint very shortly.
And just one quick question. So all of a sudden we've got a few questions. The recording will be available. You can watch it on replay. And there's a quick question about you coming to school.
Please feel free to contact us, and I'll make sure to see what can be done.
Voilà.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci à tous. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
très
the
bientôt.
questions and the interaction, and see you before next year for the next language show, and hopefully in one of our exciting projects.